Hello, Strategic Partners. This is Nancy Shore, and I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Community Engagement for Ann Arbor Public Schools. I want to welcome you to the 2024-2025 school year with this short orientation video just to give you a nice overview of Ann Arbor Public Schools and some of our policies and things you might need to know. This is a really good overview if you are new to Ann Arbor Public Schools and just want to learn more. So let's get ready. So I want to welcome you again to being a strategic partner with Ann Arbor Public Schools, and I encourage you to check out our guide for strategic partners. And so that guide has all the information I'm going to cover here in a lot more detail, and also just makes it easy for you to refer to something later if you have any questions. So what are we going to cover today? First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ann Arbor Public Schools. Going to talk about community resources and scholarships. So if you're working with students, you can know where to go to support them. Just touch briefly on how we do volunteering at Ann Arbor Public Schools, go over some policies, procedures, and protocols at the district, share some learning and training resources, and briefly talk about some 2024-2025 district initiatives. So, talking a little bit about Ann Arbor Public Schools. So, who is talking to you right now? You know, I am Nancy Shore, and I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Community Engagement. And I'm going to be your primary person that you're probably going to be interfacing with if you're going to have a relationship with the Ann Arbor Public Schools. Although you may have another contact at your school or at the district. So just know that I can always help direct you to wherever you need. And then I have an office professional, Jen Myers. And so she also can help with a lot of volunteering questions and scholarship questions if you have those. A little bit about our schools. So many of you know we have about 17,000 students at our schools, and we have lots of interesting statistics about them. So about 1 in 4 are from homes impacted by poverty, 1 in 10 is an English language learner, and 1 in 8 have special needs. And so something to realize about our schools is they are pretty diverse, and that we do, although Ann Arbor is a relatively affluent community, we do have students that are experiencing poverty in our schools. And this obviously changes depending on the school that you're at. They're not all the same. And we do also have different proportions of English language learners at different schools, and they are increasing all across our schools. If you'd like to learn more about Ann Arbor Public Schools, you can go on our main website, a2schools.org. You can check out our social pages, and then we also have this great district news site, news.a2schools.org, and that's a great place to go for all kinds of relevant and up-to-date articles and information about what's going on with Ann Arbor Public Schools. Some important links that you'll want to know, and this is a great time to get into this slide deck when I'm done giving this presentation and you go on to the guide. We have a lot of links for contacts with staff, which you're going to want to know, some quick links to different places that you'll want to be at for AAPS information. And of course, very important is our district calendar, so you know that we have when we're having our breaks, when we're having early releases, etc. So a great resource that Ann Arbor Public Schools has is, of course, our Ann Arbor Public Schools Community Education and Recreation Department. And they have a lot of different opportunities for our students. They have camps and classes. They've got before and after care, and we have just added some new before and after care sites, including Logan this year. So definitely check in and see if you are working with a school and want to see if they have aftercare there. And the wonderful thing is that we do have scholarships available for those who qualify. And so that is also something that you can look at for families that you serve. So now I want to talk a little bit about the different types of community resources and scholarships that are available for our students that if you are working directly with them, you can get information about. So we do have a website page on our main a2schools.org site, and that is a2schools.org/community resources. And that site is broken down by different area of need. So it's always updated. We make sure that we have new information on there. And so that's a great place to send families for you to look to get information for needs that a family might have. Everything from food to academic support to urgent needs. And all of these resources are local. They're typically nonprofits, and we have vetted them in a way to make sure that they are good for you to use. In addition to those resources, we do have different types of scholarships that our students can take advantage of. And so definitely make sure that you go to a2schools.org/scholarships to see a rundown of some of the ones available. And then, as I said before, the Rec and Ed office does have scholarships as well to support students. And we do have additional scholarships that are not just about college readiness or going to college. We have some that are for camps. We have some that are for other types of supports that students may need. So if you have more questions about those, you can always reach out to myself or Jen Myers. So briefly want to talk about volunteering at Ann Arbor Public Schools. So we have a main place for anybody to go that wants to volunteer with us from the community, and that's a2schools.org/volunteer. And so that's a great place for anybody to go starting in September to fill out an application. We do a background check and orientation of every one of those volunteers. And so that's just something for you to know. And also to know that if you have somebody who is wanting to volunteer and they just want to be at a specific school, they're always welcome to go to that school. Our volunteer portal is just a main page. I'll go back to that slide. It's just a main page for those who may not know where they want to volunteer or open to additional places. Okay, great. We're now going to move on to our district policies. So one of the things that is important for you to know is that our staff are all mandated reporters of child abuse. So you do not necessarily have to report that, but you as an organization or agency may also be a mandated reporter. So what's really important is for you obviously to know the signs. Please tell an AAPS staff member if you notice something. We'd much rather work if we can in collaboration so that we're all on the same page about what is happening. And then of course you keep the information confidential. And once you get this slide deck, you'll be able to click on the link, and that's for the MDHHS website that's going to show you the signs of child abuse and neglect. So very important as well is that every student is protected. Their information is protected by federal law. It's called FERPA. I'm not going to tell you what the acronym means, but what I do want to make sure you know that is that as you work with our students, you may be hearing information about them. It's likely that they'll share about what's going on with their family life, what's going on with their educational life, and that is only to be used for educational purposes. And otherwise, you're not telling your friend, telling your neighbor what business is happening with that student because unless their parent has given you consent to share that information, you are not allowed to share it. Okay, next I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our procedures and protocols. So in terms of visiting our schools, we highly recommend that you schedule your visit at the school so that everybody is expecting you. People can get called away at any minute, and so don't just expect if you arrive at a school, somebody's going to be there. It's much better if you can schedule that time. You're always going to want to go to our main entrance, and during the school day, all of our schools are going to be locked. So you're going to want to ring the buzzer and then tell them who you are and what organization you're at, if that's relevant, and who you want to see so that it's really clear. And then once you get into the building, you're going to want to check into the main office. You'll need a photo ID, and that way you'll be able to get your visitor badge and get to where you need to go. So it's possible when you are at our schools that there's going to be an emergency. And so what you should do if there's a weather-related emergency, a medical emergency, some other type of emergency, you first, of course, want to remain calm. You want to follow any instructions that staff have. Every school at every classroom, there is a sign, which you can see in the volunteer guide, the strategic partnership guide that is going to show the things that staff are going to do in the event of different types of emergencies. So you can certainly look at that. And then we ask that you do not post anything on social media as it may be not what you think it is, or there may be an issue that needs to be resolved. So just be very cautious of doing that. So other things that you may want to do, maybe you have a great event that you want to promote to our students, to our parents, and that's awesome. The thing to know is that we can only promote events that are free and open to the public. So if it's some sort of fundraiser that requires a ticket, we probably can't. post it. But if it is a event that you're offering for free and anybody can come, all you need to do is email me the information. A blurb is great because we have a weekly email that goes out. If you've got a flyer, websites, anything you have, and then I can also target it towards the audiences, students or teachers that it may be most relevant for. And just know that we can't print things for you, but if you have something you want printed, you have a printed material, we might be able to get it to places. It just really depends on it, what it is. Again, just let me know, but we are happy to work with you to promote your event. So I now want to touch on some of the learning and training resources available to you, especially if your role at Ann Arbor Public Schools is in supporting our students. And so what are some resources available to you? Well, we have a part of our guide, our strategic partner guide, that has resources for learning. And so this is going to have information on how to support a student with elementary math, with elementary English language arts. It's going to show you all kinds of handouts and games you can play. And so that's a really good place to go if you're looking to build a program and you want to think about how you can support our students. Second, we have a place on our guide for training resources for partners. And we've done a couple of trainings. If you're a partner that uses our Power School or is interested in learning about how to use Schoology, we do have a video recording as well as a slide deck that we did record last year that is going to have information that you're going to look at. So please look at the information for all of our online tools. We've got a nice training as well, and so that's going to be really helpful. And I'm very excited to report that we are looking to do even more trainings this year for all of our strategic partners who are interested. So we're hoping to have something in the fall and in the spring so that especially those of you who are doing things where you're supporting our students academically, you can get the training and support that you need to really, really serve our students well. So looking forward to being able to share more about that in the future. Finally, briefly want to touch on some of our district initiatives. So we are having always, as every year, there's things that we are doing differently or we've got new things happening. And so we're going to be posting some updates about those things in our guide, but just a couple things to let you know about is that we are going to be rolling out a social emotional learning curriculum, a universal curriculum to all of our schools. And it's through the Trails program, which is part of the University of Michigan. And so there's going to be lessons that our teachers are going to teach students around how to manage emotions, how to build relationships. And so that's going to be really exciting that we're going to have that for all of our schools. And we'll definitely make sure that partners know more about that. We are also looking at right now piloting. We're piloting some curriculum, some English language arts curriculums for our schools, piloting 2 different curriculums, and we are looking at them to see which one we want to use that is going to be best aligned with the science of reading, really works well with comprehension and word use. So again, if you want more information about that and any other initiatives that we're doing this year, you can look at that guide for updates. And with that, I want to thank you for listening to this brief orientation. I hope you now have a little bit better of an understanding of where you can go for information. This slide deck will be in the Guide for Strategic Partners, which you can find in the a2schools.org/strategic partnerships website. And I look forward to working with and seeing you all in this coming school year. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.